See you. Good to see you. Okay, I guess this is my cue to start. Needed to see one of you. Thank you for joining today's class. Aha, Grace, you can start by presenting your part. You remember yesterday I left you with an assignment to do a presentation. Did you prepare your presentation? Did you manage to prepare your presentation? I'm glad that you're well. You can just paste it there if you had anything that you had prepared for today. Because I asked you yesterday to, what did I tell you? I gave you an action yesterday, if you remember very well. I wanted you to show me your journey from the encounter, any encounter that you've had, and how, what was uncovered. How did you reconcile? Did you choose? You did? Okay, just paste it here. Just paste it, and then paste anything that you encountered, that what was uncovered, and how did you reconcile? Remember? But you're very welcome. My name is Jacinta. This is Build Beyond You. This channel is dedicated to those who are rediscovering their identities, nurturing your innate abilities, overcoming obstacles that hinder you from flourishing in your true identities, and then stepping into your true leadership authority. That's the most important. So here we carry out daily guidelines, visionary guidelines on how do we ensure alignment of our identities on a daily, because this is a daily choice and consistency is what we thrive on. So you are all very welcome. Thank you for coming on this platform. Yes, today we are going to be looking at, yesterday we looked at responsibility, right? We learned how to sustain alignment through humility, and we clearly saw that what you take if you do not be responsible for what you have been entrusted with, it's easier for you to lose it. How do you remain aligned so that you can also ensure that you take responsibility for what you have been entrusted with? And I gave you a very clear explanation from the book of Chronicles of Solomon, who was given a promise in chapter 7 and a warning, what he was entrusted with when he dedicated the temple to God. God told him, okay, if my people come to this place, seek my face and pray and turn from their wicked ways, humble themselves as well. Then, hi Kezi, how are you? Then I will hear, forgive, okay? Hear and forgive them. But then he also gave a condition. That is Second Chronicles chapter 7. He said, if you turn away from the commandments or the statutes that I have given you, I will uproot you from the land that I have given you. That was the warning that he gave very clearly. Okay? And that is what we're looking at yesterday. You see, when we talk about transformation, it's not just received, it must be sustained responsibly. And that's what we're looking at yesterday. So I gave you an assignment yesterday and I asked you to take me through your encounters. Grace, are you ready? Kezi, are you ready with yours? Okay. Then I also told you that responsibility is what sustains transformation. The more responsible you are with what has been entrusted to you, that is what is going to sustain that transformation. What you fail to maintain, you will eventually lose. As a leader, as a steward, as a visionary, you are not just called to build, you are called to preserve. You have to preserve what you have been entrusted with and then pass it on. Okay? Teach, train, empower, and then pass it on. So today we shift to lesson 8, actually progress to lesson 8, and we're looking at your response after you have been given the promise and the warning. entrusted with lands, entrusted with gifts, entrusted with talents, entrusted with resources, entrusted with uh, territories. What is your response? Is lesson 9 today. What will you do with what has been given to you? Good afternoon, Juliet. I hope this time your network is okay. Okay. How are you? How have you been? Good to see you. What will you do with what has been given to you? Okay, so yes, Grace, I'm now waiting for you. I gave you an assignment yesterday. Kezi, anyone would like to paste what you encountered? What was your response? What was uncovered? Did you reconcile? Because I took you through, from the beginning of the Journey series, we've been talking about um, encounters, what you face daily, exposure, what those encounters uncover, reconciliation, what you choose to do with what is revealed. The topic is response. What will you do with what has been given to you? What will you do with what has been given to you? Okay, so after you've encountered and those encounters have uncovered something, you reconcile what you've chosen to do, whether you choose to align or you choose to heal, and then you integrate the three: the encounters, the exposure, the reconciliation, and choose how do you move forward differently. Okay, that's what we discussed in lesson 4 of this series. And then we looked at maintaining alignment through relationships, which is sustainability, because whatever you are entrusted with is not for you, it is for others. Okay? Whatever has been placed in you is to serve others. So sustainability is maintained through relationships. And then we talked about a revelation, confronting your true self than living in denial, because you are the one who is going to run this race. You are the one who's going to go through this transformation process. You are the one who's going to build inwardly and then go out and build. And then discernment. Do you understand your vulnerabilities? Do you know where your vulnerabilities lie? That's what we looked at in that lesson. And then yesterday, we talked about responsibility. Yeah? What has been entrusted to you? How do you ensure that you responsibly handle what has been entrusted to you? Because sustaining alignment responsibly requires your humility. You must have a teachable spirit, continuously learn, and continuously allow yourself to go through corrections when they come through, because that's responsibility. Okay? Being accountable at all points, whether financially or mentally, physically, socially, relationally, you have to be accountable. All these are under the responsibility class. And then today we're looking at response. But before we go, I gave you an assignment. I wanted you to give me at least a bit, even if it's an encounter and an exposure. Share. The floor is yours now. Yes, Grace. Yes, Casey. Yes, Juliet. Uh-huh. I'm waiting. I am waiting. I'm waiting. You can't paste? Maybe type. Just type, maybe in bullet points, what was, uh, what you encountered. Kezi, you also want to share what you did with your assignment that I gave you? Kezi, do you want me to help you to type the topic? Is it still refusing you to chat? That's the topic. Is it still refusing to accept? Okay, when it does, we can go forward. I can just start the lesson. So today we're talking about response, like I've said. Okay, what will you do with what has been given to you? Right? Okay, you're welcome. When we talk about transformation, transformation is not determined by what is given, but by how you respond with what is given to you. Because as you go through the process of transformation on a daily, you're going to uncover so many of your abilities that probably went dormant and now they start getting activated. Every time you become knowledgeable and you actually get to understand, okay, or you start seeing the patterns, the signals, and then you start clearly um, perceiving what you are seeing, understanding what you're hearing, okay, and clearly understanding one step to the other, you see your curve of growth taking another level. Yeah. This transformation is going to be determined by how you respond to everyday receipts. You see, two people can hear the same message, receive the same instruction, experience the same encounter, yet produce different outcomes. We can sit here in this class and receive the same message, but completely understand the message differently, receive different revelations based on where we are in the journey of life. So the question is, where are you? Why does it happen like that? Hmm? How you respond determines how fruitful you are. How you respond determines how fruitful you are. Okay, Grace, thank you. You have encountered lots of things that question your prayer life, but this has been because somehow you have laid back on reading the word and praying. You see? Now that helps us to clearly understand that you are focusing on the spiritual aspect of your life. Okay. Um, I'll first deal with Grace, then I'll come to you, Juliet. So, Grace, if you have encountered lots of things that question your prayer life, every time you withdraw from the source, because the source is the word, and you are supposed to, at least on a daily, open that book, okay, and feed on a daily. It is direction, it is light, it is it's going to give you a clear confirmation of what has been transpiring in your life. Because everything that happens to us is actually written. It's not random. When you search, when you yield, God will also guide you on a daily. You can say, let me structure it this way. When I wake up in the morning, when I am commanding my morning, I am going to read the word. You have to find time for it very consistently. Once you start doing it, it's okay, Nashan, you're not so late. Once you start doing it, then you'll see a totally big difference. And do it very consistently. Choose a particular time, okay? That time that you choose to actually commune and be in the presence, you see, you will have created your own space. Okay? And that's how we build the systems and the structures that I keep talking about in the different areas. I don't know if that will help you. You're trying to the small steps of finding prayer partners. Also, I'm resorting to reading small but consistent. So what you do, start with yourself first before you even start going out. You see, that's why I say build inwardly first before you go out to build. Start with yourself. Okay? Start by getting the Bible and reading and understanding it. As the more you do it, the scriptures will start coming alive to you. Alive. They will no longer just be words. because whatever you yield yourself to, you become. So every time you open that book and you read the word, okay, that scripture will start coming alive to you. You'll start enjoying it. The next day you come back again. The next day you come back again. In that specific time that you have given, your prayer time. So you pray, and at the same time you open the Bible and you be consistent. It's, you remember when we talked about discipline? Just put it as a discipline. Register it. This is my discipline. And don't drop it. The moment you register it as your discipline, your mind, remember, your mind will also tune to what you are feeding it. When it realizes that every this and this time, she gives me time, that's what it will register. So somehow, at that particular time, your mind is like ringing a bell, an alarm clock. Attend to this, because you will have gotten used to that. And when it will become even much, much more easier for you. Sometimes you may slack a little bit, but don't slack back and then remain there. Come back and remind yourself of the discipline that you have created in the spiritual aspect of your life. So that is for Grace. She has given that as has in the spiritual aspect. Anybody has anything in finance, relationships, we want to cut across all areas of our lives, because remember, when we're building identity, we don't only focus on the spiritual part, we also focus on the financial, we focus on the relational, we focus on the mental, we focus on all these areas of life when we are building inwardly. Okay. Juliet, you say you choose to move differently according to how you're used to. Okay. And you're a new person now. You can make good decisions, like when you are in a bad mood. You used to shout at everyone, but for now you first reflect before responding. Very beautiful, Juliet. Now that is you building your identity in regards to the aspect of social or relationships, in terms of how you respond and how you receive whatever is coming to you. I guess you now listen even more, and you first think about what you have heard, and then you internalize the information before you react. You actually don't react anymore, you're responding. That is a very beautiful thing for you to state. That's a very big milestone that you have achieved, Juliet. And I'm really proud of you on that one. Thank you very much for sharing and being honest, guys. And at the end of the day, the more you acknowledge the different steps that you are taking in this transformation process, you'll start seeing yourselves grow one step at a time. So these are the encounters that you're giving me and what they have uncovered in you. You uncovered that you used to shout at everyone. Grace uncovered that she laid back on reading the word. And what has she, and she realized that things, she started, she encountered lots of things that question her prayer life. Okay, so that clearly shows that you have understood what encounters mean. Okay, and you've understood how, what they uncover, and then you have now reconciled clearly to choose to align, both of you. That's what I'm seeing. You've aligned in your response. Thank you very much, Juliet. You have aligned in your response, Grace, to you're trying to the small steps of finding a prayer pattern, or you are meaning pattern, not partners. I think I had read partners. Okay, you are trying to get small steps of finding a prayer pattern. Okay, so you see, you have encountered, you have uncovered, you've exposed, and then you have also reconciled. You've chosen to align, which is very clear. And now we said, how do you integrate the three? You have also both clearly showed how you are moving forward differently. You are responding instead of reacting. That is the moving forward differently. You are setting up when to a pattern that is moving forward differently, which is a discipline that you're putting in place. So I want you to apply this to every area of your life, every aspect of your life. We've just given examples, and this is helping. Okay, we've seen encounters, we've seen exposure, we've seen reconciliation, integration, and now we when how do you maintain alignment? Now, I think the sustainability, revelation, discernment, and responsibility will have another exercise to do that. At least you've given me the first four lessons, which I was so interested in. So now let's go to Nashan and Kezi. Okay, Kezi, after the relationship lesson, I was able to handle three misunderstandings in different occasions in a very mature way. Congratulations, Kezi. That was very deep. That's very beautiful. That is very beautiful. Very, very, very beautiful. And you say you used to procrastinate everything, but have seen a change. Okay. So what, Kezi, can you tell us exactly what you have been doing, what steps you took, what disciplines you put in place to change you procrastinating from how you've moved from procrastination to now whatever it is that you're doing? Can you just throw some more light on that area, because we need to understand. At least the other one we've understood that you uncovered misunderstandings, okay, and you were able to respond differently in a mature way, which is a very good thing. That is the same as kind of Juliet, but not exactly. But both of you are responding. So you are building your character. You are paying attention to what hinders your identities or what takes you to misalignment. Because the moment you understand where misalignment is coming from, then it's easier for you to align and pay attention to that particular area. Thank you for sharing that. Kezi, I'm waiting for that. Then let's go to Nashan's, that is Hajara. Am I calling you Nashan? Okay, because you call Nashan. So Hajara, let's see. Let's first finish. Kezi said you made a timetable and made it a wallpaper, an alarm too, so it's hard to postpone. Nice. That is good. That is very good. That is very good. That is very good. Mm, that is good. That is good. That is good. A timetable is just the best. That is the best structured way of doing, of implementing things. That's nice. Even an alarm. Thank you, Casey. Thank you. Thank you. You also learned how to think positively about yourself. Thank you very much, Juliet. That's good. That's good. And it starts with you. The moment you start thinking positively about yourself, or the moment you start changing internally, then the way you see things outwardly is totally different. Even when someone comes and maybe insults you or does anything that is wants to take you back into offense or anger or bitterness, you kind of like know, okay, that is their perception of me, but that does not warrant reacting to what they are imagining, expecting, or saying. Okay, you start having being in control of some of these things that get you out of alignment, and you do not want to lose your energy to anything that is not aligned to what you have set out, your visions, your values, and who you're becoming. Thank you very much. Okay, so Hajara, I'm not forgetting you. I said today I'm first focusing on you, then I come to the lesson. So Hajara says anger, forgiveness, and negative self-talk. I now wake up with positive affirmations, manifesting good things. Yes, beautiful. I can now speak about what was hurt, what has hurt you, rather than pretending to be okay for my mental health. That is the best. Oh, Hajara, that is so good. You see, silence is what actually drains us, is what actually even builds trauma. Because every time we are silent about it, then you learn to have maybe like an accountability partner that you can confide in and speak about what has hurt you. Every time you speak, or you speak, actually you release it. It loses its power over you, rather than pretending to be okay because your mental health. Now you're talking about the mental aspect of your life. Thank you very much, Hajara, for sharing that. That is very beautiful. So you see, we've talked about the spiritual aspect of life, the relationship aspect of life, and the mental aspect of life. And Hajara, you went ahead, you believe in possibilities and you're challenging yourself each and every day. That is nice because yesterday we clearly understood that alignment is a lifestyle. Yeah. Every single day we have to wake up and be positive. Brenda, you're welcome. Thank you very much for joining. You have learned to be intentional in everything you do. Ajara, I hope you are good now. I have discussed yours. You've learned to be intentional in everything you do. For example, you had a lot of lessons and courses to learn, but could live in the middle. So now you are very intentional and prioritizing your main goal. Something was hindering you, and you would stop in the middle and you would give up. And that you had to, the fact that you recognized it as a pattern, that you go and do lessons and courses and you live in the middle, your recognition of that pattern, your encounter was that, and you uncovering, you living in the middle, and then you being intentional and prioritizing your main goal is how you reconciled and how you're moving forward differently, which is integrating the three. Now, where do you lie? Maybe Brenda, you can share with us. That's not relationship, that's intellectual property. Yeah, because that is for your learning, right? I'm so proud of you. Thank you for sharing, Brenda. Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Mm-hmm. Casey, you taught us about discipline plus consistency that has really helped me in my 7 days liquid prayer fast. Okay, okay. So you've been very disciplined and consistent in your fast. Yes, because you all know very well that as you fast and pray, you're welcome. As you fast and pray, yeah, it breaks yokes, it breaks cycles, it reveals to you your inner you. Everything that is in you that is not of you has to leave. Yeah? Because you're yielding yourself to alignment. You're yielding yourself to transformation, consecration. And you're becoming a totally different person. Even your response becomes different. You start seeing things that you were not seeing because it's for your own edification. Thank you very much for sharing that. That's nice. You used to do 2 days now, and you're done. But now you're doing 7 days. Okay, so I hope this has been a very beautiful introduction to our class today. I really, really am very happy to see the progress. I'm actually very happy. I really do thank God. So, Father, thank you so much, so much for this feedback that we are receiving. And the next assignment that we're going to have, I want you to go now and look at the next 4 lessons: sustainability, revelation, and discernment and responsibility that we just had. In sustainability, we said maintaining alignment through relationships. How do you sustain the transformation? I want you to now think about how do you maintain alignment through relationships? What exactly do you do to maintain alignment? Okay. And then revelation, have you actually confronted your true self? Have you managed? I can see you have, but I want you to still go ahead and go deeper into it and give me an assessment. That is for another class, okay? And then discernment, I think maybe tomorrow you can also do that so that we can at least know that we've covered, you've done an assessment for that. And then discernment was understanding your vulnerabilities. If you don't mind, you can share your vulnerabilities because then I can even throw more light, okay, on how you deal with some of these vulnerabilities that you're dealing with, and it will also give us a very good direction on what exactly should we deal with in the journey series, because this is a journey of life, okay? Then on the responsibility part, you can find out what exactly have you been entrusted with. You don't have to share that here, but you can share where you are in terms of being responsible. What exactly are you doing to ensure that you are responsible for what you have been entrusted with, to ensure that you also still sustain that alignment through humility. Okay. Juliet, you've learned to choose who to share your issues with and who not to share with, and to keep your secrets to yourself. Thank you very much. Yes, sometimes we talk too much. Sometimes maybe we want validation. We find ourselves talking too much, but we learn as we go on. And I thank you so much that this is also helping you to see that it's not necessary for you to seek validation. Sometimes you need to keep some things to yourself. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, but as you go on, you'll keep on healing and you'll keep aligning as we go on. So let's dive into today's class. Okay. Because transformation is not, I've said very clearly that transformation is not determined by just what is given to you, okay, but by how you respond to what has been given to you. Okay. Now you see, we come to this class. Clearly, your response, you received the same message. I gave you the same instruction, yeah, but you have experienced a different encounter or different encounters, and you have completely different outcomes. And this is today's class, how you respond to what has been entrusted to you. What do you do that has been given to you? You've already showed. Yeah. You see, how you respond is going to determine your fruitfulness. And you can see where you're heading. I think you can also see for yourselves the growth in what you're doing. If I make reference to Matthew 13, now I'm free to speak on this channel. I wasn't very free on the other one, but now here I'm a bit free. So when I make reference to Matthew 13, yeah, Matthew 13 talks about, it was all about the parables, the parables, the parables. What was Jesus talking about? It was revealing that the kingdom works like a seed being sown into different kinds of soil. The same seed, but the condition of the soil changes the outcome. You can imagine the seed was one, the message was one, the instruction was one. You all have had your different encounters and you produced different outcomes. But the message was one and the instruction was one. It's like a farmer plants a seed. Now, this kind of soil may not be the same as this kind of soil, as the same as this kind of soil. So the condition of the soil is what changes the outcome. Some of you may come here and say, I didn't have any encounters. But you actually did. But you chose not to do anything about it. But this goes to show that everything that I have been teaching went on fertile ground. It did not fall on the rocky ground that was, choked, yeah? But it fell on fertile ground that you've even come back with your clear encounters, exposure, reconciliations, and integration reports. So that shows the condition, you. And that shows where you're headed. And these small steps that you're taking are going to show how fruitful you will be sometime to come. And that's the reality of leadership, stewardship, and transformation, as well as vision. What grows in your life entirely depends on how you receive, how you protect, how you nurture, how you respond to what has been planted within you. And I'm so proud of all of you. You see, very many people desire transformation, right? But few sustain the posture that is required to receive that transformation. That posture is the challenge. Everybody wants the stage, the microphone, the leadership position, that office, that car, that marriage. You see somebody coming and says, I've spent 25 years in marriage. You want that. But can you sustain the posture that is required for you to receive, sustain, maintain? Some hear the truth, but they reject it, the correction that comes with it. But you have been honest with yourself. I used to, Juliet, you said you used to, something you said, you used to, the way you used to react. Another one said you had misunderstandings. That is big honest. No one is going to judge you because this transformation is for you yourself. So if you receive truth and you immediately reject correction, then you're in the wrong garden. But I'm so proud of you. You received truth and you immediately acted on it. Some truth is received truth emotionally. You receive it emotionally, and then you lack the depth and the consistency. You receive it, and then your emotions override your sense of judgment that, okay, now I need to go deeper than this. What is the root cause? Where did this come from? Then when it comes to application, you're lazy or you don't want to apply. You want things probably done for you, or you feel entitled to somebody else's effort. This is not my class. That's the beauty about it. And that's how I want you to see the difference, so that you don't cast your pearls. Because whatever you're doing right now, these are your pearls. And I want you to guard them so jealously, because you're putting in the work. You come here every single day. You're very consistent. Some begin the journey, but some get distracted by pressure, by fear, by status. There's no money, validation, image. How will people see me like this? Or some people just want the comfort. They don't want the discomfort that comes with this, or the worldly concerns. And others intentionally close their eyes and ears. Whoop. Because transformation requires responsibility. And not everybody is willing to take responsibility for their decisions, their actions. What they have clearly had is an assignment on their heads: go and do this, go and do that. And eventually, what you repeatedly ignore is going to become inaccessible to you. The moment you start ignoring, it also shifts course and takes a totally different direction. It may come and you take it for granted when it's right in your face. But when it goes, you will have to work hard to get it back. Because what you do not value, you cannot sustain. That's why responsibility matters, which I was focusing on yesterday. God gives you the ability. Deuteronomy 8:18. He's the one who gives you the ability to produce wealth, and he establishes his covenant with you. He gives you the ability, the opportunity, the instruction, the grace, the exposure, the encounters, the revelation. But your response is going to determine whether it multiplies or dies. And as a leader, as a steward, as a visionary, you must understand that the enemy does not only attack you through destruction, DEST, like destroying everything that you have, your relationships, your marriage, your finances, the works of your hands. Sometimes the attack is destruction, DISTRACTION, destruction, like compromises, like giving you a job and you know it well, it's not aligned with your values and vision. Where are you going? You don't realize, because it has come with a lot of money, you don't realize it's a destruction, DIS, pollution, deception, false alignment, or spiritual dullness. So this is why discernment, humility, and intentionality are very necessary. And at least you have all displayed this. Because one thing I should tell you about the parables that were in Matthew 13, wheat and weeds grow together. You may actually not even see the weed. Because when you look at these two pictures, go and Google them after, the wheat and the weed. Look at them properly. They look alike. You can't differentiate between the wheat and the weed. They look alike, kabisa. And you will grow. You'll find yourself with people or in environments, okay, and you think that, hey, this one is, they read the Bible, they hey, when they are a weed, if you can't discern. That's why I keep telling you, you have to pray for discernment. Truth and deception coexist in our world today. Opportunities and distractions appear together. Ask yourself before you take on any opportunity, because this is now your response to opportunities, response to your encounters, to what has been uncovered, to what you choose to do, whether heal or align, to how you move forward differently. That is integration. But the responsibility is yours to discern, is it an opportunity or a distraction? They will appear together. Just like truth and deception will coexist, just like weeds and wheat grow together. And leadership, being a visionary, a steward, requires the maturity to discern the difference. So the lesson here today really is about discernment, how you respond. Not every opportunity that comes to you is an opportunity. Ask yourself, is it aligned? Take some time. I'm glad that how you respond, you've even explained it. You take some time off. You don't quickly make decisions without thinking about it. And I'm very, very proud of you. Very, very proud of you. And that's what it requires. Okay? As you practice these disciplines, as you practice your response, you'll see that you won't just put your signature anywhere. You may have made those careless mistakes before. Now we think twice, where am I putting my signature? Where am I going? Who am I partnering with? As a leader, as a steward, you must be able to discern. It's important at this level. So your response is not just about how you respond. No. These are the things like being reactive, uh, being patient, listening. Those are the expectations of your identity. Now, remember you're responding to external circumstances, situations, experiences, your encounters. It's important for you to wait. If something is very urgent, why is it very urgent? What are we missing here? What is hidden? The moment you start responding that way, let me wait and see what exactly is behind this. Like I said, truth and deception coexist. Opportunities and distractions appear together. Wheat and weeds grow together. Hardly can you separate the two. And most of the times we fall prey because of rushing. It is urgent, validation, fitting in, people pleasing, but we've left that age or dispensation. Yeah? We are now different. Okay? So, to my best part, how do you respond when truth confronts you? How do you respond when truth confronts you? Kezi, let me help you. But no, I'm not going to help you. How do you respond when truth confronts you? For example, do you become defensive or do you pause, reflect, and grow? I've said truth and deception. How do you respond? When for example, ah, do you know that the partnership you entered into was completely wrong? Do you know that you signed a contract with a warlock? How do you respond to such truth? I'm just giving an example. Do you become defensive, or do you pause, reflect, and grow? Or do you know you're about to sign a contract with? Ah, you're like, no, I need the money. Two, what keeps choking your growth? What keeps choking your growth? Ah, Kezi, how do you respond when truth confronts you? How do you respond when truth confronts you? Two, what keeps choking your growth? What keeps choking your growth? For example, fear of people, desire for approval, too comfortable to stretch, financial pressure. Sometimes God can hold. I don't know if you watched Braveheart. There's that part where it says, hold. Sometimes God can intentionally hold the finances because it's something that He wants to bring out of you. Patience, something He wants to bring out of you. Lower your expectations. Trust Him. Check, is there something that is still, when the money comes through, is there a leakage is there a door that needs to be closed? Uh-huh. Age keeps choking your growth. How, Grace? How is age choking your growth? Are you fearing people? Comparison. You say, there's so many people I don't think I'm going to go for that interview. There are very many people. The age is running. Eh? No, don't even think about that. When whatever is for you will come in its appointed time. You may think the age is running. Are you God? Do you know why exactly He's waiting to give you this? Why don't you ask the right questions? What do I need to do? Where do I need to align? How can I prepare for this? Don't look at the age. Being comfortable sometimes. Yes, comfortable really chokes growth. Sometimes, if you may uh, get into situations where you may have to experience discomfort, especially when you intentionally choose comfort over discomfort. So, discomfort will come and you have no option but you sit in it, in that pain. Because when you are comfortable and when you had the information, you didn't bother. Do you start comparing? Pride, distractions, the distractions I've talked about. You're supposed to grow in this area, but then this distraction has come and it looks so good, then you take that option. You've moved away from this point. Meanwhile, this point is going to still wait for you. So when you're done here, probably they'll even dump you and then you'll come back here and you may have to go back 10 steps. So those distractions have consequences. So you need to check what keeps choking your growth and be honest with yourselves. Three, are you protecting what has been planted in you? Being too tough. Okay. So you need to check that one. Yeah. Check that one. Maybe working against you. You now reflect and take the accountability. But before you were defensive. Yeah, thank you, Hajara. That's nice. That is nice. That is very, very good. That is very good. That is very good. That is a very big thing that you have overcome, Hajara. Okay, three, are you protecting what has been planted in you? For example, guarding your peace, protecting your focus, being very intentional about environments and associations. You have to be very intentional about environments and associations. Very, 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 very important. Because whatever has been planted in you is going to be affected by the environment and who you associate with. So protect your focus, your energy, your efforts. Like that one I keep singing. Guard your peace. So when you ask yourself, you pause, you breathe, and then after you make a final decision. Good. You, even in that, you are protecting what has been planted in you. Thank you, guys. 4. What kind of soil have you become? For example, hardened soil that resists correction. I don't think any of you is in this one. You who have been very participatory. You're not hardened soil. You wouldn't be giving me these reports from the lessons we've had before. Shallow soil with no depth? I don't think so still. I can see you have been very consistent. But you can also assess yourself. You may be shallow in a particular area, but not shallow in this area. But at least I'm going to give you on a scale of 1 to 10. I'll give you 4. Okay? So check any area of your life where you are shallow. You have to look at all areas. Don't look at just one. Don't generalize everything. Look at the financial, the mental, the relational. Look at every aspect of your life where you have resisted correction, where you are shallow, there's no depth, where you are distracted, okay? And that whatever is external pressures, whatever is affected by external pressures, are your relationships being affected because of external pressures? Of like, no, you can just forgive them, you can, those distractions, eh? Okay, forgiving is okay, but I mean, you can just reconcile. Let's do, and then you go back to compromising. Yeah. Okay. So, what kind of soil have you become? In terms, which areas? I want you to be very specific. Which areas are producing fruit, and which ones are still dry? If you start looking at that, it is going to give you a very clear understanding of your growth curve in that particular area. Anywhere where you've started producing fruit, you have grown. Yeah. How do you maintain? Make sure you don't forget the disciplines that you have put in to achieve that growth and that fruit. Okay. Then you go to the next one like that so that you can have balance in every area. So look at each and every soil, your financial, your mental, your relation, and see what has resisted correction, what has no depth, what is consumed by external pressures, and what is not producing fruit and what is producing fruit. And make the assessments again independently. What do I need to do to maintain the consistency in areas that have fruit? Where do I need to improve in areas that are still lagging behind and that are on zero completely? How do I reawaken this area? That's now we are really structuring our daily lives. Okay. 5, are you expecting transformation without responsibility? For example, do you want results without discipline? Do you want growth without surrender? You have your own expectations, you have the way you want your things. Are you thinking about the fact that you are not your own creator? So you cannot want growth without surrender. If you want growth, you surrender. Okay? Surrender. Don't be in control of everything. You may have your expectations, but they may not actually meet your needs. That's what you think. Okay? Allow yourself to go through the process, not only your way, because you're being corrected, okay? You're being aligned, you're being led. Do you want purpose without refinement? That's out of the question. If you think you're going to receive purpose without that fire, you're in the wrong place. The fire will come and it is hot. If anyone has lied to you that it's a smooth journey, they are lying. Hear from me. They are lying. No one goes through it, please. Then how will you take off all the chaff? How will you take off all those dirty behavior that you've been moving with? Maybe you've been speaking too much. Maybe you've been abusing. Maybe you had mannerisms of stealing, mismanagement. How will that go off? It has to go through the fire. It's chaff, it has to be burnt off. So if you're ready to walk a journey where there are no lies but truth, to prune, because you see, pruning is it's painful and it is okay. Because at the end of the day, when you prune your hair, it goes back to beautiful, right? Okay. On the discipline thing, you now trust yourself. Okay, that's good. That's good. That is good. That is good. Believing in yourself, trusting in yourself that I can actually do this, and not doubting yourself, it raises up your esteem and takes away all the insecurities that have been keeping you behind. Okay, so I hope we're all going to take responsibility for what we expect. Hmm? Without responsibility, you cannot achieve results, growth, purpose. There has to be discipline. You must surrender to the process and you must allow refinement. When the pain comes, don't run. When the discomfort comes, don't run. Sit in it. Oh, in the pain. It will pass. It's only for a moment. Okay? Yeah. So, and when you're going through the pain, ask the right questions. What is this teaching me? The moment you start having this kind of dialogue with God, life will become a little bit much easier. Because then you'll know, okay, I guess. And sometimes it doesn't mean that he's going to respond all the time. Sometimes he's completely silent. You just have to be very patient. Okay? Now, the how to steps are for this particular class of how you respond. Okay? This is how to respond. One, develop a teachable spirit, which I should really commend you for your consistency coming every single day to class and not resisting correction. When you have a teachable spirit, you allow yourself to receive truth, however bitter it may be. But Jacinta, you're very reactive. Okay? Find out, where am I reactive? What is the root cause? How can I deal with this? And then start working on it. Take the steps. Before you know it, you'll be a totally different person. When we say transformation, it begins when you remain open to truth. Even when it challenges your comfort, you just remain open to truth. Become teachable every day. Put in the work. What am I learning today? Have your journal. The encounters I had today. What did I learn from this person? Maybe someone told you some bitter truth, you didn't even want to hear it. But it came either way. Hmm? So develop a teachable spirit to protect your inner soil. Protect your inner soil. Be very mindful of what you consume, what influences you, what repeatedly enters your mind. Take every thought captive. And every time I'm telling you, you take that thought captive, you capture it. You can't do it physically, but every time, sometimes you need to be aggressive and say, casting down every imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of God and bringing every thought captive to the obedience of Jesus Christ. Every time you take those thoughts captive, he mortifies your body. He mortifies your body. Because there are things you cannot do on your own. The thoughts keep coming again, casting down every imagination that exalts itself, mortifies your body. And with time, they will lose their power over you. Then you will have your mind. But you have to do it daily. Because every single day, you're going to have that whisper. I really doubt. Casting down every imagination that is, then he mortifies your body. Before you know it, you start. Okay? Because whatever consistently enters your life eventually shapes it. So don't allow them to settle. The moment a thought of jealousy comes in, casting down, then go and even tell the person, I like your shoes, you look mwah. Let it lose its power over you. No jealousy. Don't harbor those emotions. Protect your inner soil. What you consume, what influences you, what repeatedly enters your mind will shape who you are becoming. Step 3, identify what chokes your growth. Identify what chokes your growth. Just be honest about the distractions. Identify them and acknowledge this relationship is a distraction. Any unhealthy attachments, you attached to consuming content that is not healthy for you. How about you change your feed? Take that out. Any emotional patterns that you need to deal with, identify them, name them, acknowledge, then begin the journey to break them out of your lifestyle, or your cycles of life, or your patterns in your daily life. Hmm? Be honest about your environments, your fears. Just confront them intentionally. You always go silent. Oh, Sim, hi. We had not seen you. We had an assignment you missed. You always go silent. Okay? Well, at least you have identified that. I think you need to see what silence is doing for you. Sometimes it may be to your advantage and sometimes it may be a detriment. So you need to check. Because if you have to confront them intentionally, like silence, sometimes it can choke your growth. Before you know it, it's like you're silenced and you're not growing. Yeah? Okay. More explanation on step 2. Um, Protecting your inner soil. Be mindful of what you consume. What is it that you keep consuming? Content, people you're listening to in conversations, then you indulge in gossip. Hmm? What do you consume? Look at the different areas of your life. Financially, you know you have a budget. Why are you wasting money? Do you really need this? Hmm? Do you really need that cloth that you're looking at in the shop? That's consumption, that's mismanagement. You're consuming what you don't need at that particular time, and it's leading to mismanagement. Now you're not protecting your finances. Then let's go to the mental part. Are you reading? Are you adding value to your mind each and every day because you have to renew it every day? Are you casting down those imaginations that exalt themselves above the knowledge of God? That is the consumption bit. That is protecting your inner soul. Now you look at all those different areas and then you mark where you need to put guardrails, limitations. This one, no. Who influences you? What repeatedly enters your mind? That is the protecting your inner soil. Juliet, does that make sense now? That's what I talked about in 2. And I've finished 3. Identify what chokes your growth and confront those distractions that are interfering with your growth, those unhealthy attachments. Please cut them off. This is your life. This is your transformation. If they really love you, they will find you at that level where you'll be. Okay? And then you will also know whether you make a decision. Any emotional patterns that are very unhealthy, you need to take away anything that chokes your growth. It's your growth. You sometimes have to be a bit selfish. Any fears, you fear entering that environment, you fear stepping into unknown spaces, confront that fear intentionally. Any environments, polluted environments, and I don't mean only physically. Some environments socially that are polluted, infiltrated. I said weeds go with, uh, with wheat. So if you're not able to discern, it's going to choke your growth. You have to confront them intentionally. Then 4, stay rooted during pressure. Do not abandon alignment because of opposition, because of rejection, because of misunderstanding, because of delay. Do not abandon alignment no matter what. Depth is built through endurance. You have to endure the opposition. You have to endure resistance. You saw how we were on the platform that we were before, the abuses that were coming up every single day, every single time. It's like as if they were hired in a market and they came to just lay down their abuses. But don't abandon the alignment because you don't know what God is doing when He's telling you, focus here. I'm using this as training ground. Where I'm taking you, I need you to understand. I need you to learn. I need you to discern. So allow yourself to be in that particular environment for that particular time. It's only temporary because opposition has to come. You have to learn how to handle opposition. You have to learn how to handle rejection. When you learn, when you experience it in your promotion or in the new season, you will know how to respond. When misunderstandings come, do you lash out? So stay rooted there during the pressure. Lash out, then God teaches you. Lash out, then God teaches you. How you used to lash out on a scale of 1 to 10, you start moving. Before you know it, 0. You no longer lash out. But what happened? It was during pressure. When you stayed rooted, when you did not run away, even when you are delayed. The things are written in your book. It is for this appointed time. Even if it is delayed and it's not a God delay and it's a satanic delay, there's what they call He will redeem the years. Joel 2:25. I will restore to you all the years of the canker of the locust ate. As simple as that. He will redeem. You stay aligned. Do your part. Let Him do His part. Lower your expectations and just say, God, I'm here. What do we do today? Endure, persist, okay? And stay rooted, even during the pressure. That is how you respond. That is how you respond to pressure. Then 5, produce fruit through consistency. If you want to produce fruit, you're going to have to be very consistent. Then the fruit will come. The fruit will not come if you are not consistent. Transformation is not proven through moments. It is revealed through sustained consistency. No matter what happens, if God says, do this, do it, and let Him do the rest. Just remain faithful. Remain faithful in your habits, in your stewardship, in your leadership, in your character, in your obedience. Doesn't matter what the world shows you because the world will continuously be the world. It will never change. But are you faithful? Will you be found faithful? That's how you respond. Okay? And as I conclude, the same seed does not produce the same fruit in every season. Why? Because response determines fruitfulness. Some people hear and remain unchanged. Others hear and become transformed. You know where you are in this equation. And as a leader, as a steward, as a visionary, we must continually ask ourselves, what am I doing with what has been given to me? Every day when you wake up, ask yourself that question. Because eventually, what you nurture will multiply. What you ignore will die. Whatever you compromise will become corrupted. As simple as that. And whatever you protect will produce fruit. This transformation thing is not an accidental thing. It's not something you will enter and you do and you get out. No, you have to cultivate it daily and intentionally. Very intentionally, like they say, unapologetically intentional about growth, transformation, identity alignment. That should be you this season, right? So, giving you another assignment as I usually do. What areas of your life are resisting truth? Are you resisting truth in actually? Because you're the one who resists truth, not the areas. What are those areas where you have found yourself resisting truth? And what is that that keeps choking your growth? That's two. I want you to go and do that assessment. It will help you to identify those areas in your life that you are resisting truth. You know it, but you're resisting it. And what is it that keeps choking your growth? Because whatever you're resisting is choking your growth. If you can see it and acknowledge it and identify it, then you do something about it. That's the third question. What must you intentionally protect moving forward? What must you intentionally protect moving forward? And what kind of soil are you becoming? Are you a rock? Are you whatever? Fertile ground? Just go to Matthew 13 and see the different kinds of soil. Which one are you? And look at every area of your life. In my finances, which soil am I? In my relationships, which soil am I? Is it hardened or is it fertile? How will you respond? Because the seed has already been planted. Yours, act on it intentionally. Okay? Okay, guys. I guess I'll see you tomorrow. I'm very proud of the assignments that you responded to. I am so happy that you responded to my cry. If you can actually do the one for tomorrow so that we can end this week when you have given me a clear assessment, maybe of the same or another. Maybe you can choose another area. If you did spiritual today, do mentor tomorrow and carry out the sustainability, revelation, discernment, and the responsibility part. Let me just paste it for you so that you can just write it. Which statement, my dear? More explanation on step 5. Juliet, for you, you don't want me to go, eh? Let me first give you these ones. This is your assignment tomorrow. When you reach, you first present to me so that we can go on. And that's how we're going to be doing it, so that you can have consistent feedback. The same seed doesn't produce the same fruit every season. Yes, that is true. That is true. Because you keep changing. You see, as you evolve, it cannot be the same seed. It has germinated. Now let's get another one. That's why there is a talent. The talents. So you see the parable, the talents. And every time you multiply, see some, you start seeing additions. That's your assignment. Please go and do sustainability, revelation, discernment, and responsibility. Do that homework. Tomorrow, when you come to class, I want you to present that. Okay? Okay. Juliet, which statement did you need? The last one, which one? I'm trying to look for it. How would you, is it the questions? Did you get the questions Casey wrote? Which statements? Transformation is not accidental. I can't tell which one you want, my dear. It's cultivated intentionally. What exactly? Questions. The questions. You didn't get the questions, Haja. I had said what areas. I think, did Kazi write them? Or Kazi, you didn't write, eh? She wrote. Hey. Oh. Let me write for you the questions. So the questions are here. What areas of your life are you resisting truth? This is question 1. Question 1 is there. Okay. Oh, you didn't. Okay, question 1 is there. What areas of your life are you resisting truth? What keeps choking your growth? After you've identified those areas, then you'll see what keeps choking your growth. Okay. And then what must you intentionally protect moving forward? Okay. That is question 3. And then what kind of soil are you becoming? Is question 4. Okay. Kind of soil are you becoming? You see, the seed has already been planted. So, what kind of soil are you becoming in each and every area of your life? Because you have to act on it intentionally. Your response is what is required here. How would you respond? So, those are the questions. And your assignment, you've seen it very clearly: sustainability, revelation, discernment, and responsibility. I hope you're writing. Okay. So I think I beg to leave. I think we're good to go now. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for coming for this live. I really do appreciate that. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 12:15. Keep time. I will also make sure that I keep time. Yeah. But thank you so much for attending, and I think I'll see you tomorrow. Unless there's anything, I beg to leave. Have a beautiful day as usual. Be fruitful, multiply, subdue, replenish, and take dominion. Okay? Take dominion. It's important. Okay, guys? Okay. Bye bye. You're welcome, Grace. Brenda, are you still there or you went off already? Assignment is there, Hajara. The assignment is there. I've highlighted it. Sustainability, maintaining alignment through relationships, revelation, confronting your true self, discernment, understanding your vulnerabilities. Those were the classes that we had last week, I think. Then responsibility. No, actually, we had them, yeah, this week, actually. Responsibility, sustaining alignment through humility. You have finished what? The assignment. Okay, you'll present tomorrow. You come on time so that you'll be the first one to present. Remember we did encounters, exposure, reconciliation, and integration. Now we are continuing with the next 4 lessons that we've had. We want to, and I want to go to different areas. If you did relationships today, tomorrow I want you to go to another different area. Go to finances. Okay, now I have to leave, guys. Bye.